Good afternoon, everybody. Joe from Joe's Golden Garage. Haven't posted any videos in a while because I have been out of town on a work trip. Man, work. I've had a lot of off time since I had my back surgery last summer. I've only really worked a few weeks here and there, other than the cars I've bought and sold. But I'm headed home. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, headed home down in Georgia, and I'll include a couple of little clips onto this video of what I've been doing the past, 2 weeks. No, it's only been a week and a half because today's Wednesday. So worked all this week, all last week. Yeah, okay. So week and a half, and I'm going to be off the rest of this weekend, and then be back up here the following week to continue what's going on here. I've got my little buddy Turbo. Hey, Turbo. Turbo the Dachshund. That's my brother's dog. My brother's taking his girlfriend to the beach for a short little vacation since I work with my brother. So since we're off the rest of the week and the weekend, he's going to go down to the beach and enjoy a few days. So I get to hang out with our good buddy Turbo. Hey, Turby, you being good back there? You being good? Good dog. I'm a good dog. Very good. He is a good dog. So anyway, I'm about to cross the state line. This was, I guess this has been the most I've driven the Mercedes, put it into full swing duty, with some highway miles and road tripping. And of course, you know, it performs like a Mercedes, just flawlessly. One-handed driving. I was going to run by, there's a good auction up here on Thursday mornings, and I was going to go by there and do some preview videos like I've done in the past this afternoon. But guys, it has just been so hot. I mean, so hot. I mean, right now it's 7:15 and it's just now got under 90 degrees. It was, let's say, earlier in my car it said 103. And you know, when it's hot like that, going out in that parking lot, shooting those videos of the car, it's just too hot. I'm looking forward to fall, if we will ever get a fall, and so I can get back out to the auctions and continue doing videos of cars coming up for sale. And I've got to get out there and buy another car too. I need to buy something to sell. It's never it's never a bad time to buy inexpensive cars and start stocking up for tax season. Even though that's still a good bit away, like I said, it's never too early to start stocking up on those, $500, $1,000 auction cars, polishing them up a little bit, fixing them up, make them a decent, reliable, transportation for people that just are looking for something to drive to work, A and B, and nothing fancy. So I need to get out there and get after it again. But anyway, I'm just going to do a little, we just crossed into Georgia. I meant to point out the sign, but I missed it. Here's our welcome center up here on the right. One of our welcome centers, we have many, but this is the one coming out of Tennessee. They've been doing a remodeling of it. Let me see if I don't want this tractor trailer to block our view. This one's a nice one. I like this. I hung out here and waited a tornado out a few years ago. But it's real nice. It actually has full-time employees that are actually in there working and, you know, giving maps away and all that good fun stuff. Now this next little rise in the road, this was always fun when I drove an old Mercedes diesel, because it's a little bit of an uphill grade. I don't know, you can see the people coming down it. Of course, every car I've had in the past few years has no problem going up this, but when I used to drive back and forth in my Mercedes 240 diesel, oh man, I had to prepare for this incline we're going up right now. I'd build my speed back there. I'd build it up as I'd come past the Welcome Center and try and get it up to about 80 miles an hour just so I could carry this hill at, you know, somewhere over 70 miles an hour. So I wouldn't end up over there in the slow lane. I kind of miss driving those old Mercedes 240Ds. There's something fun about trying to drive a slow car fast. You know, it keeps you on your toes. You know, you're paying attention. You got to prepare. You know, you got to prepare before you pull out in front of somebody. You got to prepare for, you know, changes in the topography and the road and entry ramps, getting on the interstate. It was always fun. A 240D, you know, don't knock them though. If you get one on the interstate and you live somewhere where it's relatively flat, not mountainous, they'll cruise all day long at 75 miles per hour and return good fuel economy. Damn near 30 miles per gallon. Now remember, that car was developed when the speed limit in the United States was about 55, so they would definitely get in the 30s then, but I could still get close to 30 if I ran about 75. And 75 is about as fast as you want to go in one of those, because the engine really starts turning the RPMs, and it really starts, but heck, it loves it. I mean, it loves it. The car will run 85 miles an hour. I don't know what the top speed is on a 240D, but I would say somewhere around 90 would probably be the absolute on a flat ass surface. Because, I mean, I think they only have like 67 horsepower to 72 horsepower. I think it varied over the years, but yeah, you could cruise in one of those 75 miles an hour all day, and it wasn't a bad freeway cruiser. They're just dreadfully slow in stop and go, around town traffic, pulling out into fast traffic. You know, you really had to be careful and prepare. A 300 turbo diesel of the 80s, early 80s, up to 1985. Now, those were a lot better. I really wish I would have hung on to, I owned several. I think I had at least 5. But I would have really liked for my daughter to have started out driving that car instead of a new car, just so she could have really learned. And that car has enough acceleration and get up and go to not be dangerous. I mean, I think 0 to 60 in a 300D is somewhere around 12 or 13 seconds. So it's not a rocket by any means, but I always had no problems whatsoever cruising at 80, 85, 90. I mean, you could cruise for all day with the cruise control set on 85 miles an hour. Those have plenty of horsepower, you know, somewhere in the 120 range and pretty good torque. So those don't have any problems on the interstate, but really wish I would have hung on to one of those. And now they're darn near impossible to find, and if you do find a nice one, people want a lot of money for them. I remember I sold my nicest, It was a 1985 300D turbo diesel sedan. It was diamond blue, which was kind of a rare color back then. And it had the Palomino interior. And I bought it from the original owners. They were some people, some acquaintances I met when I owned a business in North Carolina. And they were telling me how they were going to buy a new PT Cruiser convertible. And I said, oh gosh, what are y'all going to do? Just buy it and have 3 cars? Or what? No, we're going to trade the Mercedes. And I said, no, you're not. I said, I'm going to buy it. What do you want for it? And they said, well, they offered us $4,900 on trade. Will you give us that? And I said, you darn right I will. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $5 for it. So I bought it. It only had 63,000 miles. Now, granted, this was back in, let's see, it was right as W123s were starting to get really popular with people. So it was 2003. So I kept it till about 05, and the prices on them just kept going up. It wasn't my primary driver. I kept it in my little 1-car garage and only took it out on nice days and washed it and waxed it and babied it and all that. And I would, see how high they were selling on eBay, and I would see how much money people were asking for them, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to sell mine. I'm going to keep it forever, And then, I don't know, I finally just broke down and was like, it's better to just make some money than to sit here and let this car just sit in a carport and me just take it out on nice days. That's just dumb. And in the almost 2 years that I owned it, I put, let's see, it had 63,000 miles when I bought it. It had 68,000 miles when I sold it. So I didn't drive it that much. And I sold it on eBay, and I put it on eBay with a $10,000 reserve. The reserve was met by day 2. And remember, this was back eBay back in, 05 when, if you had a camera that had 5 megapixels, you were kicking ass. So, it was back before people did great spreads with beautiful pictures and what have you. And so, the pictures were as best as we could do for the time. But that car ended up selling for $13,800, which I thought was a really good deal for someone, because I could have sold, it was easily $18,000, $19,000 car. A few people had gotten that kind of money for theirs, but they put a high reserve and ran their auctions over and over and over again, and had a lot more feedback. I was kind of new to eBay. I didn't have a lot of feedback, so but I was happy with that. I was tickled. I only had $5,000 in the car, and I made $8,800 or whatever. I was tickled to death. Put that in the bank, and it went on to do a lot of other great things. So anyway, gosh, this video's already 14 freaking minutes long. Hey, Turby. Alright, y'all have a good one. I'll get some car content out soon. Just got to finish up this little project with Continental and Volkswagen. So, anyway, y'all have a good one. And stay tuned. I got a few clips from the plant we've been doing some work in. See y'all. Peace.